Thank you, Brandon. I love the movie.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Oh, God.
This is cool. It's not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy. You know?
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Dive in, shall we? So I saw you posing in a photo with Mrs. Reynolds, and I'm sorry, what do you call her? Do you guys have a nickname or something? Okay, no, just so it's Mrs. Okay.
This text from Blake Lively is insane. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. What?
It's a crazy text.
What are you insinuating? Like, is that a joke?
Yeah.
I was blown away reading it. I really was blown away, and honestly, weirded out. We're dealing with a weird on our hands because this is crazy.
And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail.
They had all the wardrobe set up in Manhattan. 15 minutes. And instead she said, no, I want the entire team to load all of this onto huge trucks and bring it to my apartment. At considerable time and expense of all these professionals. And also it's just like, it's not even about.
Yes. Last weekend, 3 important women in Baldoni's life spoke out and really made statements about his character. Why is this important? I think this is really important because we've seen in the past, whether it's with Harvey Weinstein, Matt Lauer.
Blake Lively's legal strategy appears to have completely unraveled, with multiple outlets now reporting that her case against Justin Baldoni has collapsed under the weight of newly revealed evidence. According to courtroom insiders, Justin's attorneys produced a set of documents and digital records that flipped the entire narrative on its head. Instead of proving misconduct on Justin's part, the material allegedly points to Blake herself being unfaithful to Ryan Reynolds. Behind the scenes, sources claim this lawsuit may never have been about Justin at all, but rather about shielding a troubled marriage from further public scrutiny. Some reports even suggest that Ryan was heavily involved, encouraging Blake to move forward with the legal action and helping craft a media strategy aimed at damaging Justin's reputation. But in a dramatic twist, much of the evidence Blake's team presented is now being dismissed. Judges and analysts note that several of her accusations either fail to connect to the case or have been outright discredited. What began as a high-profile attempt to expose Justin has now turned into a cautionary tale of how quickly a legal battle can backfire.
I'm not getting dirt on you today.
I'm probably getting spray tan on you.
That smells good.
Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
And they win! They won!
The big question now is whether Blake was truly living a double life behind Ryan's back. Could these revelations point to deeper cracks in their marriage than anyone realized? Insiders are already whispering about the possibility of a quiet separation being prepared, though nothing official has surfaced yet. What we can say for certain is that the courtroom bombshell has thrown their entire relationship into the spotlight. Every move is now under scrutiny, and speculation is growing louder by the day. So, are we watching the early signs of a Hollywood split, or is this just another chapter in a much larger story? Let's break it down piece by piece.
In the presence of Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful Queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the Mother of Dragons, the Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea.
I was lucky to be able to be involved in so many different aspects of this movie, not just on screen. On screen is the smallest amount of work that I did in this film, to be honest. And
I have absolutely no feelings about this guy, Justin Baldoni. In fact, to be perfectly honest, I reviewed some of his social media, and he seems kind of ridiculous with his toxic masculinity, lamentations, and so on. But that's fine. That's me. So I'm not on his side. But my point is simply, I just don't see it. In their incendiary complaint, where they're trying to do their best to bash him and the PR team, I don't see that the second loop closed of, and then here's where they did it. It's just all supposition. They don't have these great texts saying, look what I got.
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively have been locked in a relentless back and forth for weeks now, And at this point, it feels less like a legal dispute and more like a race to see who can discredit the other first. For the moment, Justin seems to be gaining the upper hand. His team recently unveiled a 6-minute voice note he had once sent Blake during their collaboration on It Ends With Us. While the recording doesn't completely rewrite the case, it sheds new light on what was unfolding behind closed doors. The audio has fueled speculation that Blake may have developed personal feelings for Justin, only to find them unreturned, a scenario that left her exposed and, ultimately, embarrassed. It's the sort of tangled dynamic that often surfaces when co-stars blur the line between work and personal life, with consequences far beyond the set. Sources close to the couple claim Blake is now humiliated by how the story has unraveled, while Ryan Reynolds is said to be livid, pressing his wife for answers amid suspicions that her attention drifted toward another man. Many insiders insist this private strain is what truly set the stage for the public chaos we're seeing now. To understand how we got here, let's rewind. The drama officially erupted on December 20, 2024, when Blake filed an 80-page lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, the company behind It Ends With Us, along with his publicist Jamie Heath and executive Steve Sowitz. In her complaint, she accused them of breaching her contract, fostering a hostile work environment, and orchestrating a coordinated smear campaign to destroy her credibility. Just one day later, the New York Times escalated the firestorm with a blistering exposé titled "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." The piece painted Justin and his team as aggressors, accusing them of silencing Blake, undermining her reputation, and portraying her as unstable in order to keep her quiet about her on-set experiences. The article gave her claims a powerful boost and ignited a media frenzy that hasn't cooled since.
I was lucky to be able to be involved in so many different aspects of this movie, not just on screen. On screen is the smallest amount of work that I did in this film, to be honest. I took the relationships with my mother or my sisters or my children and my feelings, and I mean it's all over this film, and in ways that nobody will ever know, and I'll never tell anybody. But when I sit in that theater with my loved ones, they see themselves all over this film, moments we've had together, things we've said to each other, and I think that's why I feel so proud.
But Justin wasn't about to sit quietly and let his reputation take the hit. In a bold move, he struck back with a jaw-dropping $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times, accusing the paper of running Blake's narrative unchecked and publishing what he claims was a dangerously biased account. According to Justin's filing, the article didn't just echo Blake's allegations, it allegedly copied them almost word for word, while omitting critical context that could have told a very different story. His team argues that the outlet ignored evidence that might have cleared his name, choosing instead to spotlight details that painted him as the villain. Even more explosive, Justin presented what he calls receipts, alleging that both Blake and the Times selectively edited their evidence. Text messages, emails, and private exchanges, he claims, were cropped or stripped of key details, down to emojis and full sections of conversations, deliberately reframed to make him look guilty. The Times, however, is standing its ground. Despite the multi-million-dollar countersuit and the mounting pressure, the paper has refused to retract its story, insisting that its reporting was both accurate and extensively fact-checked. With both sides doubling down, the standoff has only fueled speculation that this legal war is far from over.
Did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. And then she wanted to, ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices, because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
That's what she did.
She looks like she has money.
Yep.
And she's dressing in florals. And then she's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
That's what generated her negative press and led to a series of clips of her being insensitive in one way, shape, or form with other interviewers in the past. She has no one to blame but herself for that.
The press tour is part of that pay package.
Right.
You have to show up with a smile on your face and be polite to people who are not lobbing, difficult questions.
But Justin didn't stop with his lawsuit against the New York Times. He escalated the battle even further, pulling Blake Lively and even her husband, Ryan Reynolds, directly into the crosshairs. In a staggering $400 million countersuit, Justin accused the couple of defamation and extortion, claiming their actions went far beyond a simple disagreement over creative control. According to his filing, Blake allegedly invented damaging narratives in order to shift public blame onto him once unfavorable headlines began targeting her. Justin's team argues that she wasn't just protecting herself, but actively manipulating the story to make him appear responsible for problems that had nothing to do with him. The countersuit also takes aim at the couple's influence behind the scenes. Justin contends that both Blake and Ryan interfered with the film's production and marketing, effectively weaponizing the press to spread false and damaging accounts about him and his team. As for Ryan Reynolds, insiders close to the situation claim he may have been the true architect of the campaign. They suggest he played a decisive role in steering the legal and media strategy, ensuring Justin was painted as the central villain in Blake's high-profile lawsuit. If true, it would mean this courtroom drama isn't just about two colleagues in conflict, but a calculated effort led by Hollywood's most powerful power couple.
Interview that Ryan took over for It Ends With Us.
It's not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy.
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Let's dive in, shall we? So I saw you posing in a photo with Mrs. Reynolds, and I'm sorry, what do you call her? Do you guys have a nickname or something? Okay, no, just so it's Mrs. Okay. Anyway, I saw this photo. It was pretty suggestive.
It looked like he was just trying to be funny, but now with everything coming out, people believe that maybe he was the one who was trying to hijack the whole entire movie, including the marketing. And then Candace Owens posted this on her story today, which is really making him look bad. She put this on her Instagram story, and she's basically saying that the true villain of this whole entire saga is Ryan Reynolds. And allegedly, the tip came from somebody who worked on the set with them. I mean, that's what we need. We need more people coming out and talking about what really happened. Now, if any of that is true, I just want to know what's going to happen to him when A Simple Favor 2 is released. With that,
Blake also attempted to bolster her case by resurfacing a text message from August 2024. In it, she claimed Justin privately told his publicist that his business partner, Steve Sowitz, wanted to change the story. The alleged strategy? To circulate a rumor linking Ryan Reynolds to the film's script in a way that could be interpreted as anti-feminist. If true, it would suggest an intentional effort to redirect controversy away from Justin and onto Ryan, casting him in a damaging light. Blake's team argues this demonstrates how calculated Justin and his associates were in manipulating the narrative. However, critics point out that the text, even if authentic, raises more questions than answers, chiefly about context and whether the remark was a serious plan or simply offhand frustration during a tense production. Either way, the resurfaced message has added yet another explosive layer to an already volatile dispute, dragging Ryan's reputation deeper into the firestorm and complicating the legal fight between the two camps.
Insisted that the costume department pack up wardrobe and deliver it to her personal residence. Her home was 15 minutes away from where they had all the wardrobe set up in Manhattan. 15 minutes. And instead she said, no, I want the entire team to load all of this onto huge trucks and bring it to my apartment. At considerable time and expense of all these professionals. And also it's just like, it's not even about money. It's rude. It's rude to these people. It's 100% rude. Also, just to set the scene, everybody, when you go to a fitting, there are racks and racks and racks of clothing. Like, we're not just talking about one clothing rack and they're like, let's try this all on. We're talking about like 8 to 10 clothing racks of things that a stylist has sourced. And so it's a huge ask to have that literally shuttled to her apartment. It's the type of request that's so extreme that it's like, well, this would have had to been in your contract at the beginning for us to do this for you. And also, if you want to be a producer, you want to make the film more efficient, you're going to help this film cross the finish.
But then Justin's legal team flipped the script. They released a late-night recording over 6 minutes long, capturing a conversation between Justin and Blake at around 2 a.m. On the surface, the audio played like a straightforward apology, with Justin acknowledging that he may have brushed aside some of Blake's creative input on the film's script. Yet as listeners leaned in, it became clear there was more beneath the surface. The tone, the pauses, and the way certain words were chosen suggested the discussion went well beyond professional disagreements. To many, the exchange hinted at a complicated personal dynamic, one that blurred the lines between creative collaboration and something far more intimate. For observers, the recording didn't just provide context, it raised an entirely new set of questions. Was this a genuine attempt at reconciliation, or a glimpse into a deeper, more tangled relationship that had never been publicly acknowledged? Whatever the answer, The release of that audio instantly shifted the conversation and placed Blake in an even more precarious position.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 a.m. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow. There's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes. But I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank. And I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short. And you worked really hard on that. And the way you framed it and how that made you feel, I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me.
Let's roll the clock back for some context, because Justin's late-night voice note didn't just appear out of thin air. According to insiders, he recorded it shortly after Blake allegedly issued a bold threat of her own. She warned that if pushed, she was ready to call in her heaviest hitters, her best friend, Taylor Swift, and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. To emphasize her point, Blake reportedly likened herself to Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. And anyone familiar with that series knows the symbolism isn't subtle. Daenerys wasn't just a queen, she was the mother of dragons, and her dragons were infamous for reducing her enemies to ash. By drawing that comparison, Blake seemed to be sending a very pointed message. She had the connections and the power to scorch anyone who dared to cross her. For Justin, it was a clear sign that this dispute wasn't going to stay confined to contract details or film credits. It was escalating into a full-scale war with Hollywood heavyweights in the mix.
You see text messages in this lawsuit from Blake Lively comparing herself to the heroine of Game of Thrones, the fiercest female character we've seen in years, Khaleesi. That's her riding her dragon. She's the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones. And that's what Blake Lively says in a text message, that she too has her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. That's, again, believed to be the other person. And that they are powerful advocates for her. And while it seems to be said like, I'm so lucky that I have them as great storytellers to help me rewrite the script, what Brian Friedman alleges is, you'll go along or I'll unleash my dragons on you.
So, was Blake hinting that she might call on Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift to end Justin's career? To many, that's exactly how her words came across. In her exchange with him, Blake reportedly compared herself to Game of Thrones' Khaleesi, emphasizing that she had dragons ready to protect her and fight at her side. She even went so far as to suggest that Justin could benefit from those beautiful creatures if he chose to align with her. And when you remember who those dragons likely represent, two of the most powerful and influential figures in Hollywood, Ryan and Taylor, it's no surprise people read between the lines. Blake never outright threatened him, but the implication felt undeniable. If Justin didn't comply with her demands, she had the reach and resources to make life very difficult for him. That moment is exactly what sparked Justin's now infamous late-night voice note. Speaking softly around 2 a.m., he began by apologizing for disturbing her, admitting there was far more on his mind than he could convey in a single message. He even suggested they should FaceTime or meet in person soon to have a real conversation. With a touch of humor, he joked about how neither of them was particularly skilled at keeping voice notes short, but beneath the lighter tone was a strikingly candid confession. Justin acknowledged that her second message had hit him hard, admitting he had let her down by not valuing her creative input the way he should have. He recognized the effort she poured into her work and admitted he hadn't taken her ideas as seriously as she deserved. He closed the recording on a more vulnerable note, thanking Blake for being brave enough to share her feelings with him. To Justin, that level of openness was a sign of trust, and he told her he saw it as a meaningful step in their working relationship.
And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I am a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And, and I'm gonna f up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna piss you off, probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is what
Justin didn't hold back or try to soften the truth. He openly admitted where he went wrong, taking full responsibility for his actions. He acknowledged his far from perfect, a fact that anyone close to him, including his wife, could easily confirm. He candidly confessed that he sometimes says the wrong thing, misjudges situations, and unintentionally upsets people more often than he should. But rather than making excuses, he emphasized accountability. Justin promised that no matter the circumstances, he would always apologize when necessary, own his mistakes, and do everything in his power to make amends. The message was both humble and determined, painting a picture of someone aware of his flaws but committed to correcting them. It made clear that, despite the tension and accusations, he intended to handle the fallout responsibly and thoughtfully, aiming to rebuild trust wherever it had been shaken.
We all didn't like the way this film was being marketed. Yeah. Okay. We all thought it was cringe. And Blake was in that video being rude to the reporter.
And also there was the video of her saying something about I think the reporter asked her, like, how can fans connect with you about with this character or something? And she's like, okay, do you want me to share my location or something? She's just very sarcastic and snarky and just didn't come across well.
I will just say this. It really reminds me of Housewives. A lot of times what they say is like, you can blame a bad edit. Like Blake's trying to blame this smear campaign.
Yeah.
But they can't show things you didn't say.
Correct.
And in a lot of these clips and like evidence of Blake being cringe and being rude, Blake did those things. And Blake did use the film as a moment to launch a hair care business.
Right.
And promoting her alcohol brand, Betty Buzz, it's just not a good look when you're promoting also a film about domestic violence.
Well, I think too, it was just a lot of like all about Blake, all about how this is how I styled it. This is my hair care line, my Betty Buzz, whatever. It was just a lot about her and how this was her vision. And I think people felt like.
When discussing Blake's friends, Justin spoke with nothing but respect. He acknowledged that if they made her feel supported, then they were clearly incredible people, and Blake was fortunate to have them in her corner. He went further, complimenting the creative energy she brought to the table, particularly when collaborating with those two talented allies. Justin admitted he was genuinely impressed by the synergy between the three of them, describing their combined creativity as remarkable and inspiring. Even in the midst of tension and conflict, his words reflected a surprising generosity, highlighting that he could recognize and appreciate the positive influence and talent of those around Blake. It was a rare moment of acknowledgement that showed a more balanced perspective amid the ongoing drama.
And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people.
This is where the conversation takes a particularly intriguing turn. Justin was clearly owning his part in the tension, offering apologies to Blake for any hurt he caused, even though, technically, he wasn't required to. After all, as the director, he wasn't obligated to follow her script suggestions, and she was still an actress in the production. What drew the most attention, however, was how often he referenced their creative chemistry. It almost seemed like he was reminding himself to maintain professionalism, carefully navigating the fine line between collaboration and overstepping. Yet despite his restraint, his enthusiasm for working with Blake shone through unmistakably. At one point in the voice note, Justin praised her ideas directly. It's really good, and it's going to make the movie sing like you said. I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. The message struck a balance between accountability, respect, and genuine creative excitement, a subtle but telling glimpse into the complicated dynamic between them during the project.
I want you to know that I didn't need that because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you. I'm excited to be in your sphere and your presence and for us to share creative juices together, although that sounds terrible. I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship.
Speculation began swirling that the connection between Justin and Blake may have gone beyond the standard director-actress dynamic. While there's no public evidence of a full-blown affair, insiders and online commentators suggested there was something deeper simmering behind the scenes. The prevailing theory online is that Blake may have developed strong feelings for Justin. When Ryan allegedly became aware of this, she reportedly panicked and redirected blame onto Justin to protect herself. This theory helps explain why Justin's team was able to dismantle several of her claims so effectively. One of the most notable disputes involved Blake's allegation that Justin and his publicist, Jamie Heath, had invaded her privacy by entering her makeup trailer uninvited, even at sensitive moments like when she was breastfeeding. Justin's countersuit flatly rejected this version of events. According to him, Blake had invited them inside, and the visits were purely professional, meant solely to run through lines and discuss the movie. The facts, as presented by Justin's team, painted a markedly different picture, one in which Blake's narrative seemed far less credible once all the context was considered. What initially appeared to be an invasion of privacy turned into a routine professional interaction, underscoring just how sharply the story changed when all the evidence came to light.
BS. That I didn't harass her in any way, shape, or form. She tried to steal my movie from her. I bent over backward to accommodate her. Her alleged claims of sexual harassment are complete BS. Here's what really happened. Released their actual texts, putting things like, he watched me breastfeed naked in my trailer, in context when we saw text from her saying, I'm breastfeeding in my trailer, come on over. And they've gone tit for tat in the, nice pun right after the breastfeeding, ever since in the media. So this is just the latest.
There was even a text exchange that seemed to support Justin's version of events. In the messages, he reached out to Blake with a thoughtful note, expressing concern after hearing she and her baby weren't feeling well. He wished them a speedy recovery and assured her he would do whatever he could to make their work easier. Blake's response referenced the latest script pages, which she had received late the night before, and added, just pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines. Justin replied casually, copy, eating with K. We head that way. On the surface, the exchange suggested routine, professional coordination rather than conflict. However, Blake later brought forward far more serious accusations. She claimed that Justin strayed from the script in ways that made her deeply uncomfortable. According to her, he allegedly referenced past relationships and added scenes that were not in the original screenplay. She further asserted that he improvised physical interactions on set, actions she described as pushing professional boundaries, occurring without rehearsal, choreography, or the presence of an intimacy coordinator. These allegations, if true, painted a starkly different picture from the earlier texts, highlighting the gap between what seemed like routine collaboration and what she described as an increasingly tense and inappropriate working environment.
Sentimental Blake, and this prompts Lively to say, never met her. And when Baldoni teases her further, saying, I also like a-hole Blake, Lively responds and jokes right back and says, I've met her, so have my suppositories. Now, Baldoni argues that this playful banter exchange between two seasoned professionals suggests a level of comfort between them.
Justin pushed back hard against Blake's allegations, presenting a very different account of what happened on set. He insisted that it was actually Blake who refused to work with the intimacy coordinator assigned to the sensitive scenes. Because of that, he claimed he had to meet with the coordinator alone and then relay the guidance back to her. He went further, explaining that even when it felt uncomfortable, both he and Blake would occasionally rehearse intimate moments without the coordinator present. According to Justin, these sessions were intended to explore the character's emotions and motivations, sometimes involving personal anecdotes to help bring authenticity to the performances. In his telling, these moments were framed entirely around professional collaboration, not misconduct. Justin emphasized that any improvisation or discussion beyond the script was about building the story, highlighting how differently he viewed those interactions compared to the allegations that had been made.
You should not be the intimacy coordinator. You should definitely hire intimacy coordinators, which we did have. Thank goodness.
You were teaching Justin how to pull you in.
Where have you seen this?
That
I actually just saw it too. It was on Instagram yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that romance is really important. You're supposed to.
It seemed that Blake may have taken a tool meant to make filming intimate scenes safer and turned it into a major accusation against Justin. But the allegations didn't stop there. She also claimed that during a slow dance scene, Justin made an off-script remark, telling her, "It smells so good," a comment she suggested was inappropriate and unrelated to the scene. Justin's team quickly responded, releasing behind-the-scenes footage from the very moment in question. The context, they argued, changed everything. In the video, Justin does make the comment, but only immediately after Blake playfully asked whether her tan was rubbing off on him. Far from appearing predatory, the interaction comes across as light-hearted and joking. Both actors are seen teasing each other and casually fishing for compliments, making it seem less like misconduct and more like mutual banter between colleagues. For many observers, the footage shifted the narrative dramatically, casting doubt on Blake's description and highlighting how context can completely change the interpretation of a single moment.
Insane. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. What?
It's a crazy text.
What are you insinuating? Like, is that a joke?
Yeah.
I was blown away reading it. I really was blown away, and honestly, weirded out. We're dealing with a weird on our hands because
this is where the story starts to get complicated. For some, the behind-the-scenes footage seems to support the idea that Blake may have overstated her claims. Yet others see it differently, suggesting that Justin could be attempting to manipulate the situation or gaslight her. In the video, Blake can be seen repeatedly telling Justin that they need to talk as they move through the dance. At the same time, he appears to be leaning in closer, pressing into her personal space and giving the impression that he is trying to initiate a kiss. The interaction is tense and ambiguous, leaving viewers and legal analysts divided over how much was playful, professional collaboration and how much may have crossed boundaries. It's exactly this gray area that has made the footage so contentious, fueling heated debates online and adding a new layer of complexity to the legal and personal drama surrounding both of them.
Allegations in her complaint against Justin Baldoni was as follows, from paragraph 48 of her complaint. She writes, on another occasion, Mr. Baldoni and Ms. Lively were filming a slow dance scene for a montage in which no sound was recorded. Mr. Baldoni chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Ryle. Instead, he spoke to Ms. Lively out of character as himself. At one point, he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck as he said, "It smells so good." None of this was remotely in character or based on any dialogue in the script, and nothing needed to be said because, again, there was no sound. Mr. Baldoni was caressing Ms. Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with their roles. When Ms. Lively later objected to this behavior, Mr. Baldoni's response was, "I'm not even attracted to you." Well, guess what? TMZ has gotten its hands on that video, and you can hear Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni interacting as themselves, knowing that this is all on video and that this is going to be used to create this dance scene.
To some viewers, Blake's discomfort with how physically close Justin was during the scene is evident. While it's not a definitive smoking gun, the footage does raise questions about whether he may have pushed professional boundaries. The body language, the lingering proximity, and the repeated leaning in all add a layer of ambiguity that cannot be ignored. At the same time, critics and online commentators remain wary of Blake and Ryan. Many point to their aggressive media and legal strategies, suggesting the couple seems determined to control the narrative and silence Justin by any means necessary. This dual tension between possible boundary crossing on set and the high-stakes legal and PR maneuvers has left audiences divided and the entire dispute even more complex.
Romantic. Oh my gosh, we don't shut up.
And Emily and I have we have these moments where
staring. You just stare.
Literally we've done it for 5 minutes. it's like, I think you would find it terrifying. It's literally
you're talking about your spouses,
and
when I found a sociopath,
and time stops.
Yeah,
but that's just how it's been for us from the beginning.
No, we're like, oh my god, there's not enough time.
Oh.
And they score again.
Yeah. Again. It's like, oh my god, I forgot to tell you something else.
No, I think that's cute. You guys are really cute.
I think it's more than cute.
They're acting like lovers.
And my nose is so big.
Yes. I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that. And then
deal with your big nose.
Just kidding.
Okay, there. Okay, so he puts his head in her neck.
Am I getting beard on you today?
It says, am I getting beard on you?
It smells good.
Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
Right. And then says, smells good. And she says, it's my body makeup. That's her big harassment moment. They are playfully acting for the camera, trying to make it look like two lovers, two people in a relationship are.
After Justin's team released the behind-the-scenes footage and his late-night voice memo, Blake and Ryan acted quickly, filing a gag order against Justin and his attorney, Brian Fredman. Neither Justin nor his lawyer made any public statements about the order, but sources close to him slammed the move as blatantly unfair, especially given the defamation he claims he already suffered at the hands of the New York Times. According to Justin's team, that article alone cost him 3 major projects and resulted in hundreds of millions in lost opportunities. The gag order now prevents Justin from speaking to the press or publicly sharing any details about the case going forward. To observers, the timing raised eyebrows. If Blake and Ryan truly felt confident in their position, why would they be so intent on controlling what Justin could say? Why not allow his side of the story to be aired, letting the truth speak for itself? For skeptics, the move appeared less like a step toward justice and more like a strategic silencing tactic. The gag order added yet another layer of tension to an already explosive legal battle, fueling speculation that the couple was more concerned with controlling the narrative than resolving the underlying conflict.
Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. And then she wanted to, ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices, because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
That's what she did.
She looks like she has money.
Yep.
And she's dressing in florals. And then she's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
That's what generated her negative press and led to a series of clips of her being insensitive in one way, shape, or form with other interviewers in the past. She has no one to blame but herself for that.
The press tour is part of that pay package.
Right.
You have to show up with a smile on your face and be polite to people who are not lobbing, difficult questions at you. They're softballs.
Bump. Congrats on your little bump.
What is the next
What does
5
that
years
mean?
of... Well,
Did you see the movie?
I did see the movie. But I mean...
So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this?
Like asking for my address or my phone number or my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. I'm going to put it here because it doesn't ruin my outfit, but I will wear it later.
What has been the best part in making this particular movie?
I've noticed so many beautiful crystals on teeth. Is that a big fashion thing?
What has been the best part about making this particular film?
I mean, about teeth gems. Yes, that was really the highlight. Why is Deadpool Wolverine sold out? I'm sorry, I got distracted back there. Easy rings. Rings also are like my comfort blanket. It's just a very expensive comfort blanket. I should like Snuggies instead as a comfort blanket. Instead, I like Lorraine Schwartz.
This movie, I think that when you see it, it feels like a big, beautiful summer movie, but we didn't have any budget.
Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your.
One of the theories circulating online is that Blake may have filed the lawsuit primarily to shift attention away from the backlash she faced following her film's release. Fans were quick to notice the timing. She promoted a new hair care line and an alcohol brand right as the movie hit theaters. While the hair care promotion drew some mild criticism, the alcohol tie-in drew far more scrutiny, especially given the film's focus on domestic issues, which made the marketing choice feel jarring and, to many, in poor taste. Adding fuel to the fire, several of Blake's older interviews resurfaced around the same period. In them, she made remarks that audiences quickly labeled as tone-deaf or cringeworthy. The combination of ill-timed promotions and awkward past comments intensified the public spotlight, leaving her facing a wave of criticism that some believe may have motivated her legal action. In this view, the lawsuit was less about seeking justice and more about redirecting the narrative, an attempt to put herself back in control while the attention on her career missteps and controversial marketing grew louder.
Sing like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you. I'm excited to be in your sphere and your presence, and for us to share creative juices together, although that sounds terrible. I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship.
As previously noted, many observers believe the entire controversy may have begun with Blake developing feelings for Justin and struggling to navigate the situation once Ryan became aware. A brief clip from a press event has only added fuel to the fire. In it, Blake appears visibly flustered when asked about teaching Justin how to handle intimate scenes, a moment that quickly went viral and sparked endless online debate. Since then, commentary has exploded across social media. Some suggest Blake has shifted from being a mean girl archetype to a full-blown supervillain figure, with Ryan and Taylor seemingly cast as her loyal allies. Others point to Justin's now famous voice message, which initially gave the impression that he might stay passive or overly apologetic. But his subsequent countersuits, released footage, and other evidence prove the opposite. He is more than willing to defend himself and stand his ground. To critics, the unfolding drama is tragic because it paints a picture of someone taking advantage of another person's generosity. Justin appeared sincere and cooperative, yet Blake's legal and media maneuvers transformed the situation into a high-stakes battle. Ultimately, the debate continues. Is it a story of miscommunication and blurred boundaries, or a calculated power play orchestrated behind the scenes? The truth remains tangled, and as more evidence emerges, public opinion is certain to evolve and the courtroom saga is far from over.